Hello and welcome back to Popcorn and Beers, where some use tomatoes and others use thumbs. We use the stuff that gets you drunk. And we're planning on killing this episode. We are on Popcorn and Beers, where we talk about movies. Sometimes we have fun and sometimes we don't. But we've got a lot going on.
We're not having fun today.
No! All right, so we've got a lot going on. Welcome back, Josh. Happy to have you here in the atmosphere. That rhymed. We had a Butter on Top this week that is one of Josh's all-time favorite movies for random reasons. Probably because he was high when he watched it the first time. Or he cried when he watched it the first time.
I was probably
Josh,
8.
why is it? Why? So you were high. Well, Josh, why, why is it?
There's so much about The Crow, the aesthetic that was pulled off, that it's a different kind of superhero movie that's like no one's even come close to that particular vibe. It's like a gothic cityscape. People have attempted
Sting.
But it's so surreal, and like you can tell like they didn't have a whole movie there, but somehow it works. And I don't know, it's corny, it's good, it's stupid. R.I.P. Brandon Lee.
Did Sting do The Crow better than anyone else ever has?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, Sting probably should have played the Crow like when he was in his peak, in his prime, because he was ripped. Like, he was in great shape in his prime. And you don't really have to talk too much as the Crow. You just walk around and you're like, yeah. Or you just
that,
be like,
Jordan?
Yeah.
Really strange laugh. Like, he's acting right now, isn't he?
All right. So, Jordan, we'll start with you. What did you think of The Crow since you watched The Crow 94? Was it the first time you watched The Crow 94 before you get right into this?
I had seen bits and pieces of it as a kid. Don't really remember it, but this is the first time I actually watched it as an adult and, could really analyze it. It's just exactly what Josh said. There just wasn't much of a movie there.
Brandon Lee got shot in the face.
Yeah, and I think that they carried that into the new one. The new one, they didn't have much of a movie there either.
I was going to say, Skarsgård doesn't get shot in the face.
No. What's your excuse?
Yes,
2024?
I'm sorry, but we're going to have to shoot you in the face. That's just part of the role.
But 94, they got like the cheesy songs from the 90s, and everybody in the movie looks like the Crow. Like, I'm like, if he's the Crow, she's the Crow, he's the Crow. Everybody is yeah. Dialogue is corny and dumb. The effects, there are some pretty cool shots that they are to pull off. But it's heavy into the drug use and stuff, and that also carries over into the new one. But I hate when we show explicit needle use for like drugs. Like, just have it be implied. You could have it be implied that this is what's going on. You don't need to show the needle getting prepped. They don't need you to give you a directions on how to do an H-bomb. Fire it up. Those guys funny. They crack me up. And there's also a scene where a cab driver almost hits a guy and he calls him a stupid ass hair. And I thought that was pretty hilarious.
Hold on. You're diving into The Crow 94, huh?
Yes. I'm starting there.
Okay.
He's bobbing and weaving here.
No.
Hold on. None of this happened.
No.
This is The Crow 94. I was so confused.
What do you think about the soundtrack that seemed like halfway forced?
I mentioned to somebody that I was watching The Crow 94, and they were like, "Oh man, the soundtrack of that is great. It's like all time." I was like, "Really?
Grunge, man. Sure?" It's like prime grunge.
Yeah. No, I don't know. It was weird. It was all just weird. So Crow 24, I don't have a lot to say about it. This wasn't a great performance by him.
Did you remember when his accent just drops out?
Oh, he did a lot.
He just starts talking like he's Icelandic again out of nowhere, and you're like, wait, is he American or is he Icelandic?
It happens a lot throughout the movie. And what's her name? What's the girl's name? The singer?
Gilpy. Aaliyah.
She's FKA Twigs.
Yes, she dated Elon Musk, right?
No, that's Grimes. there wasn't much of a movie here. They took a lot of they just made it very modern, emo-y, millennial-y, just lame. They're just a really annoying PDA couple the whole movie. It's like, And,
it takes about an hour to get going again. And literally, I laughed way more than I should. Like, there were a lot of murder scenes where I just laughed out loud, where I just started laughing. But it's like, I was like, oh, who cares? Like, during the love scenes, it was so like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Stop dragging this shit out and just get to him. I would have rather watched him avenge her for an hour and 20 minutes and only had 20 minutes of, oh my God, I love you so much. We did drugs together. Now we love each other. Like, I would have just, who cares?
And him just getting his ass kicked, like, for like a solid 30 minutes of the movie. Like, not knowing what to do.
And then get his power taken away. As Josh has said, stop taking away their powers in the movie. No one came to see that.
Yeah. You could like, all that time you do that, you could just show him using his powers.
Yeah. We all came to see this movie, Spider-Man 2. Go on, Sam Raimi. Anyway,
it's like if I give you a hot dog and watch you eat it and take it away, and then I take a bite, and then I just give it back to you. Like, that section of hot dog is gone.
Yeah, it's still a hot dog. Yeah, but you ate some of it.
I would have loved to see the over-under odds before this movie premiered around the world. The over-under odds of there being a scene where just a room is full of creepy mannequins. Because this was totally creepy mannequin movie vibes.
Yo, we should make some sports bets like that. Like Cliche Hunter or something.
And they just
maybe we get on DraftKings.
It's all ridiculous. I mean, they do some clever things, some tricks, in the action sequences with the whole him being invincible type of deal. They do a couple things that are like, okay, that was kind of funny. He chops off a lot of people's arms, and the way that the arms fall off is pretty funny looking.
No, it's so in the mouth, and he pushes it.
Yeah.
The guy's face just falls off.
He's got a sword through his chest, and then he pushes and just falls back onto another guy and stabs him through the chest.
Oh, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, it's very Mr. Magoo, the crow, the way he gets down.
Mr. McCrow.
Yeah. They leave you with an open...
His friend just sits on the couch where he's getting fucked up. His friend just sitting there. Like, I'm so scared. No one's even in the room with him, and he just watches his friend get murdered.
Yeah. And they have like an...
so bad.
They have like they set you up for this like arguably bad, like cool looking henchman, the guy with like the eye thing.
Yeah.
And they just like smoke him like with no real consequence. Like he adds nothing to the movie. They're just like super early on, like this guy's dead, and I'm like, oh, he was the coolest looking character.
and then he hurts himself, and I laughed out loud there too because of the reverberations of the sound of the pistol off the car.
Yeah,
and I'm just I was like, oh my god, stop it, stop! I can't do this, stop! And people next to me were like, really
screams.
The way that they keep showing him healing from things, it's like, okay, we saw it the first time, we get it, he heals. They like keep going back to it, like a dramatic like focus on his body
like
healing.
Every bullet wound, he's like, wait, look, watch.
Yeah. And, I thought when the ear thing happened, I was like, you better not go into his ear canal and show his eardrum healing itself. You better not do it. No, I thought they were going to though, but they leave you with an open-ended, confusing ending that just like they're trying to set you up for if there's possibly a sequel. I hope that there is not. I don't think there will be. I give this a popcorn.
Yeah, I gave it a pop as well. Look, some of this stuff is good. Like, I'm not going to lie to you and say it was all terrible. Some of the action is good, but it takes... Like, the theater scene was John Wick-esque, but it takes so long. The car fight was good. It didn't last long enough.
Yeah,
they ended it so fast. And if I hit somebody with my car, I'm going to stop. The truck just kept driving after it ran over a human being. Also, you live next to an asylum. You see two people running through the woods and flag you down. You don't pick them up.
Yeah,
It's not what you.
Yeah.
It's not what you do. No one does that. Also, stop killing animals to start a movie. He could have just set the house on fire with his mom. That would have been fine. Like he killed the horse right away, like for no reason. It takes forever to get going. The crybaby hero stuff. That's when they take his powers. No, but I did love her. I'm like, who cares? She might have been evil. Oh wait, it was a demon. Like,
I'm gonna go on my roof and play guitar.
It was so no. This one he's a DJ. This one he's a DJ.
No,
he mixes beats and he has a piano. She does have a great voice, though. I will say that. Like she does have a fantastic voice.
Yeah.
She
looks like she bites.
She was a better actress in this film than he was, but she didn't have to put on a. She does look like she bites. She didn't have to put on a fake accent like he did. He had to pretend to be an American guy. He keeps looking at his hands like they did something in his life because of the whole I touched a dying horse thing and cut myself.
What?
It's a lot. It's a lot. It doesn't make any sense. It's stupid, and it's supposed to talk to you about how deep he is and what he went through in his life. But you don't really ever get any exposition on that, which might have also been better than an hour of love scene. Like an hour of love scene, like learning about what he was as a kid would have been better than that, right? Like, how did he end up in this addict center or this rehab or this asylum? Like, what? So he set his house on fire. Thanks for giving me that in clips. That might have been interesting to actually see, but you cut out all the interesting, and you're like, look, they're gonna make love for 20 minutes straight because he's Sting in South Park, and he makes love for 8 hours. All right, it was bad. It was bad. There's a lot of cool, so it gets a pop. But the lot of cool happens in 35 minutes of this hour and 45-minute film. And that is the truth. I wish I was lying to you. Fast forward to the last 35 minutes, and you see everything you need to see, including the love story, oddly enough. Like, you even get what you need there. It could have been a 35-minute episode of television, is my thoughts. Josh, have we made you sad?
Oh, I'm sad. I kind of expected it. I mean, the trailer told you everything you need to know, am I right? Like, I didn't see the movie. Let's just put that out there. Based on the trailer, and of course what you said, like, it just seemed like they definitely don't get what The Crow originally was. Like, we're not making a franchise teen novel. Like, we're making just, like, something weird and a beautiful, like, sad, dark love story. And, like, showing the grit. And I don't know. I'm over-preaching. I just like The Crow. I know it's not a great movie.
Yeah, I gave it a popcorn. 94.
I really loved Jared Leto's Joker. Whoever directed this.
Like, there you go. Really... Yeah, probably right.
Well, it was like he basically got the Pennywise makeup going on.
Yeah, right. The whole time.
Yeah.
All right, so, Josh, that all leads us to 4 brothers and a baby. I mean, 4 brothers.
4
and
brothers.
Marky Mark definitely cries in this. So what made you choose this?
Well, I'll tell you, I had one locked in, but it's about a funeral, and then a funeral happened at my house, so I was like, let's just not watch a funeral movie. So I thought another one, someone dies, but it's a little better take on it. I wanted something a little more fun, kind of a fun movie, huh? And that's 4 brothers.
Someone dies, but it's going to be okay. There's a funeral in this,
like,
too.
You know, what's
There's
the best
actually
kind?
3 funerals.
It's like it's a revenge film, though. Like, you know, go get them. So I watched this movie when I was, 19 or something, and it's just a movie that you don't really care about, but it's fun to watch when it's on. The bad guy is like he's a cool bad guy, but it's kind of like, did you go to Juilliard or where'd you get that accent? I don't know. And then the 4 brothers. What I do like about this movie, let me just say, what I do like about this movie is the very real chemistry between all the 4 brothers and Sofia Vergara. They made the whole thing seem believable. So it's one of those movies you kind of watch, like, the plot kind of sucks. The action scenes are okay. There's some surprising cool action scenes now and then, but it's really like going back to visit your cousins type of movie. Like, oh, here he goes again, shitting on with the door open while his brother's taking a shower. all that.
Having a full conversation with the other brother.
Yeah, totally like real brotherly chemistry there, and I think that's the draw of the movie.
Yeah. Hey man, take a look at my junk. What do you think that is? Kind of,
Yeah.
That's literally a scene in the movie. Yeah.
It is. It happens. Yeah.
I mean, I just
STD
think
check on
that
Tyrese.
aspect of the movie is believable. I kind of like how everyone thinks they're a tough guy. It's nice to see Tyrese back when people believed he was a tough guy. Mark Wahlberg when he was like doing Marky Mark stuff. Andre 3000,
the
what's
same
up?
character in every movie.
Yeah. Marky Mark, yeah, whatever.
Stop messing with me. I'm good with women. Why are you always joking on me?
My biggest concern is like, all right, it's a family tradition. We're gonna do some stickball. I don't know what that accent was, but these are like 30-somethings going out to play hockey, that they normally don't do on a regular basis. They're all gonna slip a disc.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's all.
We couldn't even get Andre 3000 rapping.
I call it a popcorn and one just because of the, it's just a warm movie to me, warm and gritty.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. What do you think, Jordan?
Yeah, it's a gritty revenge movie, but it does have heart, like you said. You get the discount Austin Butler, pre-Austin Butler guy, mixed with Jeremy Allen White, mixed with Machine Gun Kelly guy.
Yeah, dude.
Garrett Hedlund?
Is that what his name is? Has he ever been in anything else?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Has he ever been in anything else?
Nope.
He has a very dramatic death scene where he is just snotting everywhere.
He was in Tron, man.
I don't know if I ever saw that.
He was also in Triple Frontier on Netflix. That was a hit.
Was he?
Yeah.
Huh. I think I saw that one. Sofia Vergara playing such just the horrible stereotype. She is so annoying in this movie. It's like, dude, get rid of her. She's literally trying
stereotype?
to throw you in jail. Well, I don't know.
I love Havana.
Yeah, you would have you would have the best reference for that. This is a borderline, Marky Mark with he's at times got his black scent going on. Borderline problematic.
Did he say the N-word?
I feel like he wanted to a couple times.
I feel like he slipped one in.
Only to Terrence Howard.
Yeah, like he said it to a black man.
He said it with his eyes. He said it with his eyes. I like the villain guy. He's it wasn't acted very well, but he's just the way he was written was just despicable. Like he's just a diabolical villain. I like how every time they show him, he has the Dolomite theme playing in the background. Oh man!
Get down here and eat this food. Eat it with your man.
Yeah. How far did Marky Mark have to walk through the ice to get? They show town in the distance, and he's just got like a thermal shirt on, and he's just walking across the ice to fight this guy.
Because you gotta look like Marky Mark, like big and ripped.
No, what if he came in on some cross-country skis?
Snowshoes.
Let me get my gear off.
He's doing snowshoes all the way up. Tennis rackets.
My last observation is that I like how they're all rebuilding the house there at the end, and he just mixes a fresh barrel of mortar, like for the bricks and stuff, and they're like, all right, come inside and eat. And they're like, okay. And they all just stop working and go inside. Like, bro, you just wasted all that mortar. It's going to go.
Yeah, it's going to freeze right away.
Literally no cops show up for like 45 minutes. And they do some crazy shit.
Yeah, it's like a lot of movies don't feature a lot of cell phones, or that there was a good time period where that was the case. Definitely, this is just like that. Like we're gonna pretend there's no cops.
Yeah. I like that scene is a very all-time great scene where they're all four guys are getting interrogated at the same time, and they're all giving him the same line about their wife or their
usual
mom.
Suspects did it better, but yeah.
What?
3 guys.
Yeah, one's dead.
Oh yeah, one's dead. Yeah. All right, well, I give it a popcorn and one as well.
Mom! I don't know if he was yelling "Mom" or whatever Mark Wahlberg's character was. Do you know?
Billy. No, it's not Billy.
It was Mom, right? He was yelling Mom.
Tommy?
Tommy.
Is it Tommy or Mommy?
I think he might have said a little both. I don't know. He had bullet holes in him. They shot him in his butt.
Like in the hole. All right, you guys covered a ton of this movie. I mean, they shoot up a casino and there's no casino security guards. Either that or they're like, nope, my pension doesn't cover this. And they just walked away. There was some funny stuff in this movie. Like, they go to a high school basketball game that clearly has, like, 40-year-old men playing in this basketball game. And I'm like, that said technical high school, right? When they walked into the gym. And they stopped a high school kid. And those dudes on the court are, like, 40 years old.
Yeah.
But also, this is Detroit. You think you're the only one in that room with a gun? Like,
right? and he's like the shortest person on the court, for sure, right? Because isn't Marky Mark like 5'8"?
Everybody
like,
take a knee.
6 foot.
Take a knee.
Right? So there was a lot about this movie that was goofy, but I get the wholesome aspect of it, especially when we've already talked about this on Gorp, that found family aspect, right? Like, you don't always choose who your family is.
Yeah.
Even in your found family, and these 4 people get put in a house together, they end up becoming brothers. They end up becoming family, right? You have the scene when they trap the teenager, and he goes, "No, he's my brother." And he goes, "Yeah, these are my brothers," which was an unnecessary line, but whatever.
Yeah, there's a lot of unnecessary lines.
No, my real brother. And he goes, "Yeah, these are my real brothers." So we just march past that. The guy with the compound fracture laying on the ground outside of his apartment never goes into shock, which was kind of funny. He just lays there, bleeding out, and nothing happens. The first floor, I definitely would have heard him outside my window. Like like there's people on the first floor that didn't hear him, and they're just like, "Nah, he's gonna be fine."
They're at work.
Not our business.
People in those apartments don't go to work, silly. All right. I gave it a popcorn and 1. There's some decent action in this. They brutally execute 2 people, and you don't really get explanation into why they had to execute.
Vicious, dude.
Yeah. Like, I get why they had to kill all the people that attacked their house in this movie, but I did not get the execute. Well, I guess those are the 2 people responsible for the death of their mother, and maybe that was like a bit of revenge, huh?
I don't know, man. It's Detroit.
All right, let's throw it up. I will lead us up with what we were watching this week, and I'm gonna lead us in with I watched The Untold Story of the Murder. It's Untold is the documentary series, pardon me. The Murder of Steve McNair. I gave this a pop. This is a lot of rehashing of a story we all saw when he was murdered. There's only one twist at the end, and that is, was it the girlfriend? The private investigator doesn't seem to think so. He seems to think it was his best friend could have done it, or there was one other person. And then a lot of people come diving in like, yo, this guy's never worked on a murder before, this PI. This is the first murder he ever worked on, and we think he's extorting the family of the girlfriend to get more money out of them. That was the only twist we saw. Overall, I think it's been fairly recognized as a murder-suicide between the woman he was dating that worked at Dave & Buster's. And there's not much you need to see this if you watch the documentary that came out years and years ago on this story. It's sad, but it is fun to rewatch Steve McNair highlights, and they show a lot of Steve McNair highlights.
He's a killer.
And he was the man, as Josh said. Like, he was voted one of the toughest men in the NFL multiple years in a row.
And brain power.
With broken hand, broken shoulders, like hurt knees. That dude was just a beast. He was a tank. So overall, I gave this documentary a popcorn because I had seen it before. But if you've never heard the story, it's kind of interesting to find out what dating the wrong people can get you if you're not careful. Jordan, what were you watching?
I watched something that you already watched. I watched Long Legs. Okay. This, I think a lot of people hype this up a little bit too much. To me, I had a lot of people constantly asking me, "Have you seen this movie? Have you seen this movie? Have you seen this movie?" So I had to watch it, and I don't feel any the better for watching it. I could have lived without it. It's just the end. It's just the actual thing that is happening that's bad. If you remove that, it's a pop 3 movie. Sorry, it's your review. I'll shut my mouth. It's just exactly what I would have expected had nobody told me anything about this movie. Like if I had never heard of it and then I watched it when it was on TV, it was like, yeah, okay, this is a weird Nicolas Cage trying to do weird Nicolas Cage things. The examiner guy with the doll, that guy's a murderer as well. That guy needs to be investigated.
That guy does murder.
Weirdo. It's supernatural, over the top, Silence of the Lambs kinds of vibes. It's so many different genres of horror that and like suspense that they're trying to like cram into this movie, and it doesn't like excel in one of them, but it also doesn't like do one of them like all that horribly. Like it's just all like it's like almost like they crammed an anthology of horror sci-fi takes into one movie, really like short movie.
You're the horror guy on this show, so I'm gonna have to take your word for it. I've seen quite a few horror pictures, but I didn't get that. I thought Nicolas Cage crushed it.
There's like the cop thing, investigation. There's the mom. There's religion. There's a creepy doll. There's a serial killer. They're just like, and there's psychic powers. There's like all this, it's like a whole bunch of different, like, as I've been labeled the horror guy by Fry like 2 minutes ago. I promise you, don't watch this movie. You don't need to. Wow. Don't listen to anybody. You don't need to watch this movie.
Don't listen to anybody.
Yeah, Fry's opinion sucks.
And of course, the mom is a hoarder. Popcorn.
I mean, the mom had suffered some pretty severe trauma. The girl in the movie, I think, had some form of autism. I really do. The detective, like, there was something there that I think she was playing on. But yeah, that's okay. That's okay. You gave it a popcorn. I give it a pop too. We can meet somewhere in the middle, me and you. Nope. I want to throw it to Josh though.
Oh, no. You know what I know? No. I'll tell you what I know. I watched what Jordan watched. I watched Jackpot with John Cena and Awkwafina. And I thought it was a very fun movie. I thought a lot of it was like, oh, this is like Awkwafina's stand-up. Like the lines that were delivered, like this is her this is in her notebook, her joke book. However, John Cena was great. Awkwafina was great. I like Awkwafina. I think she overacts sometimes.
Jordan hates Awkwafina. Jordan hates
I know
her.
You do. I can see what can be grating about her. Like sometimes she lays it on a little bit thick, but it's also like a cartoon character. She's like she has charisma to me. She got a lot of charisma, and that overshadows her perhaps poor acting choices sometimes. I like her. I like the movie. It seems like this is a growing phenomenon of, like Purge, and what's the other movies that are like this? Boy Kills World, similar. Like in the future, people get murdered all the time, and everyone's cool with it. Whatever.
In the future, people do murder.
The concept is absolutely ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense, but who cares? This is one of those movies where they just they give you a little setup so they can put a bunch of jokes in, and some of the jokes landed. Some of the jokes landed. Some of the fight scenes really landed. The physical comedy of this movie was pretty good. The ending was the best part, I think. They ran the whole credits was jokes and gag reels and epilogue stuff. She opens a school it's called the School for Kids with Shitty Parents. Funny stuff like that, and they're on a yacht, and they realize that they're assholes now because they have a yacht. There's a whole thing. I like the movie. I like John Cena. They had good chemistry. I love John Cena. I hope he keeps making funny action for the rest of his life. That's his lane, and he kills it.
Yep. That's his next movie, by the way. The title of his next movie is called Funny Action, starring John Cena.
Bad movie, fun movie. They basically just typed in to an AI, make the Purge, but make it fun.
Oh, and we're going to have John Cena and Awkwafina.
Yeah. Make it fun.
I liked all the fight stuff. I like that stuff. Popcorn 1, yep, that's me.
Yep.
Pop and 1. All right. Well, I also watched a new movie and
stand by for your third review of Jackpot next week when I watch it.
I watched The Union, starring Halle Berry and one Mark Wahlberg. and he plays. How long can he get away with playing like the boyish, like, oh, who knows this? Like, that's crazy. Like, I'm just a guy from the block. Like, he's like the male Jennifer Lopez. That's who Mark Wahlberg is. I just realized it. Mark Wahlberg is the male Jennifer. He's played the same character into his late 50s. Is he in the late 50s now? And it's like, he can't keep getting away with this, right? Like, we've got to have a different. Keep getting away with this. Like, boyishly attractive guy from the East Coast that is never leaving the East Coast. Ryan Reynolds, like, yeah, ascended past it. Anyway, this is a tale as old as time. In fact, even Netflix has already done this with The Old Guard and Charlize Theron. It is and then of course the Kingsman. It is a secret society, but now they need an ordinary Joe that they've got to pull in because he's the only person that hasn't been indoctrinated enough to fit into normal public. But wait, we gotta pull him out because he's not trained for these situations. He's an average guy. It's just a lot of that again, and it's. Again, let's send him home and take him out of the mission. No, the whole movie is this whole group. Why are you going to take him out of the group and stop doing that. It's so dumb. It's the same thing as taking away their powers. Like, it's the... Give me that. It was a bad movie. I literally, in my notes, I wrote, this wasn't a good movie. It was just a paycheck for Halle Berry and Mark Wahlberg. I mean, how long can you play boyishly cute guy? It was bad. It was all bad. The action was just okay. I think some people will tell you it was really good. The funniest part was seeing Luke Cage play, the actor that plays Luke Cage, play like the maligned boyfriend. And it's a scene that Mark Wahlberg's done 1,000 times, but it was actually funny this time. And it was, is this the guy that did all the combat training? And he's like, yeah, this is him. And he goes, okay, so we won't fight then. And it was like the way it played out, it was actually kind of funny. Outside of that, it is a pop. The Netflix machine cranks out another AI generated hit, and it was bad.
It was bad.
All right, the next one. No. I have the most, so I'm gonna keep going here. I'm gonna do a bad one in That 90s Show Part 3.
Ooh.
And they get Jay and Silent Bob involved in episode 2 of season 3. And again, none of this stuff happened in the 90s. None of it. I lived during the 90s. Who's writing this? Zillennials? It's so bad. Stop it. You're ruining everything. We watched The Lion King and Fern Gully. We didn't do what these kids are doing. It's so dumb. You're just doing that 70s show and saying it's that 90s show with worse actors, worse looking Kelsos. Ashton Kutcher is not that guy. You don't need to watch that 90s show. I don't know why I keep putting myself through this. It's for you guys. It's like Janet Jackson. It's all for you. All right, Jordan.
Oh, yeah. The last thing I watched was The Quick and the Dead.
Okay. Before you do this, Jordan, can you tell us what you rated The Crow 94?
Oh, I gave it a popcorn as well.
Popcorn, okay.
Popcorn as
all
well.
Right. Quick and the Dead. Well. Baby Leo.
Yeah. The Quick and the Dead. Sam Raimi made a Western flick. That really surprised me. I was like, whoa, this is a Sam Raimi movie? And then as I watched it, I was like, oh, yeah, this is a Sam Raimi movie. Yeah. Sharon Stone is in this movie. Young Leo. He's not even top billed in this. He's very young. Very much, young Leo. It's just, yeah. You can see it. You can see the movie star there, the future guy. Western characters, funky, unnecessary camera stuff. Sam Raimi movie. He throws a glass of water at Russell Crowe, and he catches it upright with the water all still in it. That was cool. They killed a guy. This is like it's just, it lends some authenticity to it that you don't see in other Western movies, to where there's the duel and he kills the guy, and then everybody in town just basically strips him, takes all of his like gold teeth out, and they take his wallet and his shoes, and like they just strip him in the middle of town. And it's like, yeah, that feels very actually what happened. You know, and I hate the it's the wah, I can't kill people. I'm the protagonist, and the whole point of this movie is I need to kill people, but I can't kill people.
I won't do it.
Yeah. And
I hate my mom. What?
The end where they have the final duel between Sharon Stone and the bad guy, and she shoots him right through the dome, and he does like a triple backflip and flies through the air. That was fantastic. That was Sam Raimi right there. This was a fun movie, though. This was a really fun movie. I really liked it. Popcorn and one.
Popcorn and one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
Mr. Josh,
Oh,
it is
hi.
your time.
Well, sure. I'll hit you with a weird one. So, are you guys aware of a man named Connor O'Malley? He's a very large, homely man. He was on I Think You Should Leave. He had a few sketches on I Think You Should Leave. So one of them was the mall producer who was getting old men to sing songs. He was we just got to get a few more dollars. We're gonna get my buddy out from New York down here. That guy. So he made a special. I saw this on not Jimmy Fallon, the other guy, Stewart. I don't know. Interviewed him and say, "Hey, I got a special out there." So, I'll check it out. It's only 11 minutes long, just so you know. It's not really a comedy special either. It's just a weird film. But I found out the guy who worked on it with him is the same guy who did all those weird Adult Swim cartoons late night that I told you about, like the unedited footage of a bear, like super surreal, weird. It's extremely dark comedy, but also like, what? And it made me laugh quite a bit. And there's actually a pretty cool use of AI tech to make a really wacky sequence. Like, it was pretty tasteful. Well, not tasteful, but like, oh, you use the thing that everyone's goofing off with. You're actually doing something cool with it. I give it a popcorn and one. It's not for hardly anybody, but I liked it.
Not for anybody, but
not for hardly anybody.
It was just made for me.
I'm sorry. The special's called Corey's. It's just weird, dude, and it's really weird, surreal as hell.
Speaking of Corey's, can I just point out? I went to see Limp Bizkit in concert this Friday, and Corey Feldman opened up with a set where he sings. Apparently, he has some hits, like some from around the world.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
Who knew? And he wore like a Michael Jackson's. He had a whole Michael Jackson thing about like he was dancing like Michael Jackson on stage. Look it up on YouTube if you can.
I've seen him perform on YouTube. Yeah. He's wild, dude.
Yeah, he's crazy, but you gotta love it. It was fun. But,
he's lost his mind.
Yeah.
All right.
Just one Pepsi.
So I watched Incoming, which is, coming of age, teenager story. She's all that. Can't Hardly Wait. All of these movies that we grew up on. 10 Things I Hate About You. And they used to be good. And they're not anymore. And maybe I'm getting old. Or maybe they're just bad movies. They're really bad. There's no originality. And as it pertains to Incoming, I gave it a pop. And tell me if you've heard this one before. Yet another story about a freshman entering high school. And he's got a group of friends. And oh wait, 2 of them got to get laid before this movie is over. They're trying to cover way too many storylines too as this movie progresses. There's this one, and it's like, okay, we get it. Our generation has ADD, but we got our cell phones. Just put on a movie with a storyline, and our cell phone will occupy our attention while this movie is on. Okay, it's stop making movies for people with ADD to make them pay attention. Like, I don't need random French in a movie, so I have to read a damn subtitle. I don't need that. I don't need it. There's so many random things that occur now in movies. Also, where the hell were all these people getting hamburgers first thing in the movie or in the morning? They're always on their way to school with hamburgers. Why are they eating hamburgers for breakfast?
That's a weird
I have so many questions. I had more questions about that than anything else in this movie. I was like, where are they getting all these hamburgers from? It's like 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And also, why are they eating them for breakfast? Anyway, there was a lot going on with the hamburger aspect of this film. It's the best one. Everything else is forgettable in this movie. And I have one last note. This is obviously a popcorn. It wasn't good. Again, another AI script. Like, stop, Netflix. Like, or writers that are bad. Like, either pay the good writers more, but these movies suck, and I think we're going to watch it no matter what, so
I'm still going to watch it.
Yeah, I hate it. Mm-hmm. I'm going to watch it because it's new.
How raunchy is it? On a scale of 1 to, can I watch this with my mom and grandpa?
Yeah, mom and grandpa is fine. You get one nipple. There's a nipple in it. Like, that's what you see. There's like, I'm going to tase this guy in the testicles. A teacher does some stuff that's stupid. It was our boy from Old Dad, the one I like, that was...
Andrew Garfield? Santino?
No, yeah, no. From Old Dads.
Bill Burr?
You just reviewed it last week. No.
Oh, Cannavale?
Yeah. He's in it. And he tries to save it, but it's just bad. He's just collecting paychecks at this point, which good for him. I mean, he's earned it. And he was good. He was good in Watchers. Like, he was good in that. So, it's a TV show on Netflix. I reviewed it a while back.
I did watch that.
But my last note on this popcorn is the whole movie, we have to hear about how this is a theater kid and how he's got a great, beautiful singing voice and how the girl of his dreams just wishes he would be him and sing again. And at the end of the movie, he sings Signed, Sealed, Delivered, and he's awful. He's really bad. And I'm like, auto-tune this kid. Like, or make him lip sing. It was, I had to hear about how this kid was a good singer for 90 minutes. And he is terrible. Like, he's bad. If he was on The Voice, he would get a 0-chair turn. It was awful. All right? So, popcorn. Josh, on to you, sir.
Oh, yeah. This week dictated that I watch a comfort movie, so I did watch a comfort movie. I watched the first Hobbit movie, starring Bilbo Baggins, of course, and that's the actor's name. I don't think I've reviewed specifically Hobbit, but I'm crazy about Lord of the Rings. The whole thing is a huge comfort movie for me. I love them. As a child, my mom would read the book to us to go to sleep, and I've read it many times since. I love The Hobbit. I love this first movie. You can say what you want about the whole trilogy or whatever you want. This first movie was really good. It nails the idea of the movie, I suppose. They added some fun and whatever. I'm not going to dig too deep. I loved it. Popcorn 3, The Hobbit.
Rings of Power coming out this weekend.
Yes,
Rings of Power
finally.
coming out.
We've waited long enough. I'm tired
And
of
we're
these
getting
2-year
an
waits.
animated prequel.
Yeah.
I have to binge watch all this stuff now, the first season of everything now, because it takes 10 years for the new season to come out. It's miserable. All right, so I watched The Killer on Peacock. It's a Peacock original if you want to catch this. It's the new John Woo movie. And it's got the young lady that was in Deadpool 2. I can't remember her name, so give me a second.
Natalie Emanuel?
Is that what her name is?
Something like that. Points for me.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah.
You nailed it. You got it right. Natalie Emanuel. And Sam Worthington is in this. And it's very John Woo, which lately, it's not a good movie, but it's going to have a lot of action. There is a scene, and it's just your shoot 'em up, okay? And you can tell a lot of the actors did not learn the choreography well before they went out and did some of the martial arts. Like, it was very stiff. There was a lot of unnecessary dives. I'm like, why are you diving? What are you diving from? Nothing's happening. There's no reason for you to dive.
Was it very Steven Seagal Aikido? It's just walking around going like this.
There's a lot of that. Yeah, there is a funny scene where she does actually a cool move where she, like, drops her pistol and then slaps him in the face, and he falls and gets knocked out. And she goes, "Are you awake?" And she stares at him for a minute, and he goes, "Yes." And she goes, and she walks back over and she knocks him out. And that was pretty funny. Like, there is a lot of mindless action that make it a fun movie. Not a good movie, a fun movie. And she has a good quote every time. So she's the killer. And every time she gets put on a contract, she says, "Do they deserve this death?" And I was like, that's pretty cool. And then, of course, they overdo it at the end. But it was a pretty cool little line she says before she goes out and fulfills her contract. Have you guys ever watched The Office all the way through?
I've never seen a single episode of The Office.
Okay.
So I'd like to.
Okay, you should watch it. Because I wanted to start off this episode with something, but Josh told me not to. All right? But The Office, Josh. Do you remember when he releases the Michael Scott film? I can't remember what it's called. Threat Level Midnight?
Threat Level
Do you
Midnight.
remember?
Yep.
Do you remember this ice skating scene where they're shooting at each other at point blank range? And they're not... That happens in this movie. They shoot at each other at point blank range, and no one gets shot. And there's just like no, not even the bystanders. And the bystanders are diving all, and they're just shooting at each other like they're on ice skates, and no one gets hit. It's amazing. It's amazing. Nothing happens. It was the funniest thing. It happens right at the beginning. Again, one of those things where they're making me read subtitles so I can like understand what French people are saying instead of just making them speak English so I can watch this movie. It's probably not even really what they're saying in French. I've noticed that with subtitles. Like when you actually watch it with somebody who speaks the language, they're like, that's not exactly what they said. I mean, it's a general idea of what they said, but that's not actually what they said. It's got a lot of homage being paid to like Van Damme movies, John Woo movies of the past. There's, the old Training Day with the pigeons and the doves like flying out of the way. Yeah. Like there's a lot of like, what is John Woo and the doves, man? He loves those doves.
Doves, dog.
I will tell you, just to put action right into your veins, if you want a big dumb action movie, it's a popcorn.
Cool. I like that.
All right, Josh.
That was my spy?
Oh, she has a badass sword dress, too. Sorry, Josh.
Yeah, it's a carbon fiber sword dress, and the sword is, like, totally flat, except for, the sharp edge. It was a cool sword. That's all I'm saying. Cool dress, cool sword.
That was my spy? That you just watched?
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. That was The Killer, and that was the top one.
Yeah.
My Jordan, thing has been recording on my MacBook Air microphone this whole time. But whatever. It's okay. It is what it is at this point.
You sound fine.
Okay, good.
I'll tell you what. I watched a little stand-up comedy. It's always good to do that. I got on YouTube and just typed in stand-up, found somebody special. It's a man named Sal Vulcano. You might know him as probably the only, not the only. He's the funniest one from those 74 seasons of Impractical Jokers. Mm-hmm. The younger one. Anyway, it's good. It hit. It's just classic. Observational, like, my family's crazy, but he's a very charismatic guy. He's got good jokes. He's Italian. Nothing was groundbreaking, but nothing was wrong with it either. He was just a guy who did his regular old set. I call it a popcorn. Yeah.
Call it a popcorn. YouTube freezies for that stand-up comedy.
Terrified. Yeah.
Okay, well, I watched a show that Jordan already reviewed, Those About to Die.
Oh,
he's right. CGI is not amazing in this. It's kind of silly, but overall, I liked it a little bit more than Jordan did. I kind of liked the action. I liked the mix of the chariot races and the gladiator games. I thought that was kind of cool. I think it was kind of stupid how they tried to Game of Thrones it. If you watch Game of Thrones, you'll know what I mean when you start watching Those About to Die. If you do, I'm not going to recommend don't watch it. Like I've said for a few things, I think it's good enough. It's a show that will pass the time. You need an hour to kill. You're cooking dinner. It's a good show. It's another show that it introduces too many storylines. Like there doesn't have to be this. There doesn't have to be chaos every episode. Like it could be the same chaotic moment as a thread throughout. Like that's totally fine. I think if they had just focused on the family from Africa throughout it, and then Titus, as you said, Ramses Barton, that would have been a fine storyline to focus on. But they introduce not just the royal family, but all the royal family's issues. There's a lot of storylines going on there. There's a lot of storylines going on with the Senate. Then there's extra storylines going on with Ramses Barton, Titus's character. And it's just like, okay, enough. Like there's too many things happening. And there's no way you're going to be able to land this plane. Again, you're just doing it to stimulate the attention of the audience, and it's unnecessary. We've got our cell phones. Focus on one storyline. Make a good show. This show could have been very quality. Jordan was right. Not enough Anthony Hopkins. When he was in it, he was definitely honing it in. He has about one or two really good Anthony Hopkins moments. Outside of that, you don't get enough of him as the great general. I'm sure there's a prequel in the works on this show about what happened after Nero was killed himself in real life. So I'm sure that something's going to happen there. I'm sure this is going to get a second season. They invested a lot into it. But as far as the CGI graphics are concerned, I think it's just TV CGI. I think it's fair. I think Disney does it too. Go ahead, Jordan.
Did you like Anthony Hopkins, the whole a great emperor has to die standing up. And so he's like about to take his last breath. He's like, stand me up, don't hold me up. I have to die standing up. Yeah. Oh God, I feel like
you would have been standing there for a lot longer.
Yeah,
it'd be nice if they played a little realism to it and just had him evacuate his bowels.
Exactly, that was literally what I was thinking. Like, I'm like, are they aware that you crap yourself when you die? So
I mean, it's not every time, but often.
Yeah.
I gave this one a pop 1. The action's pretty decent in this, actually. A lot of the fight scenes were really well done. The choreography, as opposed to the killer, is very good in this.
He's like, joke's on you, I crapped myself before I died. I crapped myself 5 minutes ago.
These white robes. That's why I had to stand me up. I didn't want to die in my own shit. Josh.
What? I'll tell you something. I watched something called Kevin Can Fuck Himself, is what it's called. It's not a new show. It's an AMC show that has 2 seasons available now on Netflix. And my interest was piqued because the lead is Annie Murphy. You might know her as Alexis from Schitt's Creek. That's 2 swear words in 1 minute.
It's Alexis.
Yeah. She's great, and she's great in this. She plays a different character. She's got some range. Really cool. What's nice about this show is it's a sitcom, right?
I have seen the trailer for this show. I didn't
3
think
camera
I had it
sitcom.
when you were talking about it.
And then when the tendency is whenever it switches to her perspective, it changes into a drama. Like the lights change, It goes to single cam, and the whole show's about her husband's an idiot, a classic Kevin James moron. Ray Romano, and then she's just the wife who's like has to pick up the pieces and smile about it, but in secret she's like losing her mind, and the whole show is basically not really a spoiler because of the title. She's trying to kill him. She's gonna find a way to kill him. But I like how the show develops. It goes some places. It reminds me of a movie. It was Jake Gyllenhaal and Jennifer Aniston. You guys know what movie this was? Where like she has an affair with John C. Reilly, or her husband's John C. Reilly. She has an affair with Jake Gyllenhaal, and there's a whole poison. It's a pretty cool movie. Maybe I'll find it and suggest it. But the idea is like she's the housewife who's sick of her life, and turns out though like she's not that great. She didn't like miss out on something. She's just not great either. She's kind of dumb, just like he's kind of dumb. So I like how the plot goes with that. Like she's the bad guy. And
is it the good girl?
The Good Girl, yes, sir. That's the movie I'm talking about. Similar idea, but this makes it a sitcom. I watched the first season. There's a second season available, maybe a third coming. I don't know. Leaves you on a bit of a cliffhanger. I'm going to be honest. I'm not sure I care to see the rest of it. Maybe I'll check it out. But I love it how the whole show just switches back and forth between stupid sitcom and deep or dark drama. So that's cool.
Say it. Just say it.
Say
it's
what?
Very meta, right? It's very meta.
What's the word that everybody's using on social media right now? Like demure?
Demure. Yeah.
We're stupid now.
I'm in danger. Yeah, I give it a popcorn and 1 just because of Annie Murphy's performance and her idiot husband's performance.
Okay, all right. Well, I got My Spy International, or if you're in America, I believe it's called My Spy: The Eternal City. One of the two, because on Amazon it says My Spy International, which I don't know if you guys know. Some people know, like sometimes they change the titles of movies when they come to Europe. Like the title changes. And I think that might be the case. I think a famous one is The Rundown. Has a different title. I think it's called Rumble in the Jungle.
We watched one recently, one of our butters or something that had a different title too. Because it meant something different in England. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happens there, but it happens
the road
either
trip
way.
movie. The Hitchhiker movie. Not the Hitchhiker. The big truck movie with the radio. That one has
Joyride.
It's different in England.
All right, so My Spy International starring Bautista, who continues to set himself apart from like The Rock and John Cena with his range. Like he's good in a lot of different roles. Like he was great at Knock at the Cabin Door, and he's great in Struber. He's great in a lot of Guardians of the Galaxy.
I love Stuber. Oh my god, I love that movie. Comfort.
Is that what it's called, Stuber? Yeah.
Stuber, yeah.
He just is a good actor, and he's nice to watch. Like he's he's like America's dad now. It's weird.
He's
he has
got
the
dad
joke. Yeah, he does. He just has those vibes, and you're like, I know he's big and huge, but he reminds me of when Arnold Schwarzenegger was doing like Junior and Kindergarten Cop and all those movies. That's kind of what he reminds me of. So this is a sequel that no one asked for, to quote Jordan last week. And I don't think anyone needed to see it, but I actually liked it. It's a pop 1 for me. It's not an amazing movie again. Again, bad CGI on Finches, but the Finches were kind of funny. And it's got, what's old boy's name? From Mr. Chan from The Hangover. What's his
Yeah.
What's his face?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
So he's in it. I can't think. Ken Wong. Ken Jeong. Thank you. Yeah, he's in it, and he provides some comic relief. There's a few different things that you don't really need in this movie, but essentially they get a choir contest, and then you find out the principal had some nefarious activities that led to them winning this choir contest, and they end up at the Vatican. And it is funny. You get a lot of stuff from the previous one. They've aged the characters. They've grown up, obviously, so they didn't try to make them act young. They're in high school now. It makes more sense. This movie's a couple years after the original. It's also got Anna Faris, who was unrecognizable to me. Maybe you guys would have recognized her, but I was like, oh, snap, that's Anna Faris. When she finally comes out with her character, and I did not recognize her through the first couple scenes she was in.
It's been a few years.
I think it's a good lane for her, honestly, in that, you're not going to recognize me, but I'm a pretty banging actress as far as my talent goes. And I have range, and it was pretty interesting. She, at the end, does Anna Faris stuff. She reverts. But I think she's got a nice lane to go into as she continues making movies. It's a popcorn and one, like I said, but it was a fun movie. And are we over the CPR to save, and then they come at the end? Are we over that? Can we come up with something new?
Yeah. Finger up the butt.
Let's just hook him to an AED or something. All right, Josh.
Oh, okay. I watched the Detroiters. Right. This is a movie. It's a show, Comedy Central show, short episodes that I've seen so many times on the shorts on YouTube. And I'm like, I gotta watch this show. But it just now became available, I think, on Prime. And it's, I forgot both their names, but the guys from I Think You Should Leave.
Tim Robinson and Sam something. Sam something is also incredible on Veep. He's incredible on Veep.
Also in A Promising Young Woman. Or Promising Young Woman.
Yeah.
Cool. But this is the Detroiters. It's one of the earlier projects from these two guys. This obviously best friends. It's such a good, ridiculous humor show. And it's similar in vein to I Think You Should Leave, but it's a lot different. It seems like they just take 3 sketch ideas and just stretch them and meld them together to make a weird episode. And it's so the best example is there's a whole episode happening, but then they realize they throw something and it hits the glass and oh, it bounced. It must be unbreakable. So then they spend 5 minutes just throwing shit at this glass pane to see if they can break it. Totally interrupt the entire episode. And then it ends with them throwing a desk at it. And they're like, all right, back to work. And then it's got great stuff in it. There's so much of it that's adorable, honestly. Adorably funny. And also extremely funny. And remember on Tires, when we talk about how, we've been mentioning the father this whole time, and it's just some guy. Not the case here. On Detroiters, it's Kevin Nash. He's the dad who just pops up. It's nice. Funny. He plays such a great role, too. Everyone does great. Popcorn in 3 series. I'm sad it's over. I guess there's still a huge fan base that's begging for a next season.
I think that Party Down did that. They brought back everyone, but they put it on Showtime, and no one watches Showtime. and I loved Party Down. I thought that show was hilarious, and then they brought it back. I was like, oh, it's gonna be awesome. And they're like, it's on Showtime. I was like, never mind. Josh, thank you for reminding me. I did watch Confess Fletch, starring John Hamm, and he is at his most debonair. There you go. Run with that one, TikTok. He is his male, seductive self. Just very handsome, chest hair out, deep voice, tall John Hamm.
He's very handsome.
Pause for a minute. Let it sit. All right, we can keep going. But he
with his big old face.
I think he's like 6'4" or something. Too.
He's got a
Yo,
big
face
old
looks like my
face.
knuckles.
I gave this a pop, I gave this a pop 1 because it grew on me. You guys ever watch a movie like that where it's, at the beginning you're like, this is gonna be a stupid movie. Like I'm not gonna like
Jackpot?
But it's got Roy Wood in it, and Roy Wood really helps with the movie. He's very funny in it. He's playing a detective. They call him like the slow roast or something like that because he takes forever to solve crimes. And he works with John Hamm, Fletch. And it's funny because Fletch keeps taking off his shoes. Like for no reason, whenever he's around people, he just takes off his shoes. Blends in. He was an investigative reporter. They go into that later. And it just grew on me as the movie continued throughout. And it's really just about a heist falling apart. And unfortunately, it led to the murder of a young woman who happened to be staying in a house with Fletch to basically frame him for murder so he'd get off the case. And it was funny. It was kind of like Josh said, a feel-good movie after a while. And it doesn't end with the geek gets the girl. Like, he has to move on, and they all go their separate directions. I was okay with it. I was fine with that. So I gave that one a pop 1. It's a slow burn, but it will grow on you. It has some very funny scenes. John Hamm and Roy Wood have great chemistry together. The love interest and her mother-in-law, not amazing, but outside, not mother-in-law, stepmother, not amazing chemistry, but you could see the funny parts. It's like, look, we're Italian. We act like we love each other, but then we fight. Stereotypes.
Pass the garlic.
We're gonna make a spaghetti. It was fine, but it would actually will grow on you. I think Confess Fletch was a decent movie, and they did a good job, and I don't think enough people saw it. So popcorn 1. Jordan, are you gonna give us a movie that not enough people saw for your drunk classic?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
All right. So we're going with an end of summer fun.
Nice.
Doorbell interrupt me. Start over. We're gonna go with an end of summer, little lighthearted, funny, fun movie. Okay. I don't remember this being a particularly good movie, but okay. Starring Jack Black and Mos Def.
Oh,
okay.
Please
This is
rewind.
called
Be Kind, Rewind.
Rewind. Yeah.
Yes, that's on my list.
I have seen this.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
I've been wanting to watch this again.
Yeah, this is a very fun, good, feel-good movie.
Hell yeah.
All right, that's good, and we can watch it after what doesn't seem to be a good movie. I had higher hopes for it. We're gonna watch Blink Twice as our butter
Blink
on
Twice.
top.
Yep.
We put The Crow over it, and it just might be a week where they release 2 bad movies at the same time, so one would overshadow the other. But we'll see. We're gonna go to the theaters and we're gonna see it, and I think it's gonna be okay, guys. I think Blink Twice is gonna be fine. Got a good cast.
It'll be all right.
Is blinking twice technically blinking once? Do you consider both eyes 1 or 2 blinks?
A blink is 2 eyes. A wink is 1 eye.
Okay.
Oh gosh, somebody goes.
Sorry, guys. We got to get off the air, and we'll do the sign-off slogan here in a minute. But I work with somebody, and they go, yeah, it had all 11 eyes on them. And I looked at them and was like, why were there only 11? And they hit me, and they're like, you know what I mean. So, sorry. That's what you reminded me of just now. It's the first, I can't help myself. Just when people say stuff like that, the first thing that pops in my head is like, don't we all have 2 eyes? Like,
11.
All right. So we hope to see you guys at Blink Twice. We give you guys these films that we're going to watch so you could join us on this show, on this journey. You can watch them with us. Give us some reviews. Give us feedback. But we will see you at the movies for Blink Twice. As always, you bring the popcorn. We got the beer. Perfect.